Hey guys, tonight we're doing something a little slower than usual. So go ahead and dim the lights, put the phone face down, let the room get quiet in that slightly uncomfortable way that eventually turns cozy. Tonight we're not dealing with kings, crowns, or emotionally unstable emperors who married their cousins because tradition. No dynasties, no succession crises, just a river, a boat, and a job that apparently continues even after death. This is a Bengali folk legend known as the corpse-carrying boat. A ghost story, technically, but not the kind that wants to scare you. This one feels tired, like it's been telling itself for centuries and would really appreciate it if everyone could just lie down and stop asking questions. The story lives along rivers, which makes sense because rivers remember everything and gossip constantly. They see people arrive, they see people leave, and sometimes they see people not quite do either. No one agrees on which river this boat belongs to. Some say the Padma, some insist it's the Meghna. Others claim it's a nameless river because folklore loves ambiguity and hates Google Maps. But the details never really change, only the faces do. It always begins with a boatman. Not a hero, not brave, not curious in a productive way. Just a man who knows how to row, knows how to stay quiet, and knows that night work pays slightly better. He's usually poor, because ghost stories are never about people with backup plans. He's usually tired, because that's when people start seeing things. And he's usually alone, which is important because witnesses complicate folklore. The night is calm, annoyingly calm. No wind, no frogs, no dramatic clouds. Just water that looks like it forgot how to move. And that's when he sees the boat. At first, it looks normal, which is always how these things start. A long wooden boat, low in the water, drifting, not rowing, because effort is apparently optional in the afterlife. As it gets closer, he notices something strange. There's no lantern, no sound, no oars dipping into the water. And yet, it's moving, slowly, confidently, like it knows exactly where it's going and doesn't feel the need to explain itself. Now here's the part everyone agrees on. The boat is full, not with passengers, not with cargo, with bodies, wrapped, still, lined up carefully, like someone took their time. Not bloody, not violent, just finished. And steering the boat, or sometimes standing at the center, sometimes at the back, because consistency is for historians, is a single figure. A boatman, just like him. Same kind of clothes, same posture, same exhausted energy. Which is honestly rude. If you're going to be a supernatural entity, at least try to stand out. The ferryman doesn't speak. He never does. No dramatic lornings, no evil laughter, just silent rowing, or sometimes not even rowing at all. The living boatman freezes because survival instincts are very clear about this sort of thing. He tries to look away, but folklore has excellent peripheral vision. And then the other boat drifts closer, close enough to recognize someone. And this is where the story becomes deeply personal, because one of the bodies looks familiar. Sometimes it's a neighbor, sometimes a distant cousin. Sometimes, if the story wants to be especially rude, it's him. Same face, same clothes, same expression of mild disappointment. No screaming happens, that's important. This is not a loud story. Instead, the living boatman feels heavy, like the river has quietly decided he's done for the night. Like every choice he's ever made has gently led him here. The ghost boat passes. No splash, no waves, just silence sliding through silence. And afterward, the river returns to normal, which is somehow worse.
Now here's where the villagers come in, because no folklore survives without people discussing it endlessly. When the boatman returns, if he returns, he's changed. Quieter, thinner, older. He stops working nights, stops talking about the river, stops explaining why his hands shake when he smells wet wood. And in some versions of the story, he doesn't return at all. Days later, someone else sees a boat, drifting, quiet, low in the water, and there's one more body than before. Which brings us to the uncomfortable theory everyone pretends not to think about, that the corpse-carrying boat isn't hunting, it's hiring. This isn't a monster, it's a system, a river-based logistics operation for the dead. Because rivers, historically, are very practical. They carry trade, they carry stories, they carry bodies during floods, famines, wars, and accidents. So why not after death, too? The ghost boatman isn't evil, he's just still working, which honestly might be the most terrifying part of all. Some elders say the boat only appears to people who are already meant to die soon. Others say it comes to those who spend too much time on the river at night, which feels less mystical and more like basic safety advice. There are rules, apparently. Folklore loves rules. Don't call out to the boat, don't follow it, don't point at it, don't count the bodies. Especially don't count the bodies, because counting implies curiosity, and curiosity implies availability. If you see the boat, you're supposed to close your eyes, sit still, let it pass, like a bad thought or an awkward memory from years ago. And if the boat stops, well, that's usually when the story ends, because at that point, it's no longer your story to tell. Over time, this legend settled into river culture like fog. Boatmen tell it to apprentices. Fishermen mention it casually, as if discussing weather. Parents use it to convince children that nighttime rivers are not playgrounds. And historians, the sleepless kind, will quietly note that stories like this appear everywhere. The Greek ferryman Charon, the Viking river Jill, funeral boats in ancient Egypt. Different cultures, same idea. Someone has to do the crossing, and sometimes the job doesn't end when life does. So the corpse-carrying boat drifts on, not angry, not rushed, just doing what it's always done, one body at a time. And honestly, that's probably enough for tonight. Let the river keep its secrets. Let the boat pass, and let your thoughts slow down until they float. Because in the end, even the dead seem tired.
All right, welcome back. If you're still awake, that's fine. If you're half asleep, even better. That's kind of the optimal setting for river folklore. So let's just gently push off again. No splashing, no urgency. We're floating. Now, once a story like the corpse-carrying boat exists long enough, people start doing what humans do best. They start adding footnotes. Not written ones, just whispered explanations, personal theories. That one uncle who insists he knows someone who actually saw it. And no, you can't ask follow-up questions. And slowly, the legend stops being about the boat. It becomes about the boatman. Because the boatman is the unsettling part. Boats are objects, rivers are eternal. But a person who keeps working after death, that hits a little too close to home. In many versions of the story, the ghost boatman was once very much alive, which, yes, is usually how ghosts get started. But his life is never dramatic. No betrayal, no revenge arc, no tragic romance with poetic lighting. He was a ferryman. That's it. He spent his days rowing people across rivers for small coins. He knew the currents better than he knew his own family.
He knew which stretches were shallow, which ones swallowed boats, and which ones should never be crossed after sunset because the river gets moody. He wasn't rich, obviously. Folklore does not reward labor. He lived near the water, a hut, a fire, a routine so repetitive that time stopped bothering to mark it. And one night, not a special night, not a cursed night, just a night, he didn't come back. Some versions say there was a storm, others say the water was calm, which is somehow worse. Sometimes his boat was found, sometimes it wasn't. And eventually people moved on, because rivers demand acceptance. Until someone saw him again. Same posture, same slow movements, same boat, except now he wasn't carrying the living. What's interesting is that the ghost boatman doesn't choose kings. He doesn't collect important people. No nobles, no heroes, just ordinary bodies. Farmers, children, old men who didn't wake up, women who slipped into the river quietly, without drama, which gives the story this deeply bureaucratic energy, like death outsourced transportation and never followed up. Some elders say the boat appears more often during floods, which makes sense. Floods erase boundaries, homes become rivers, rivers become roads, and when the water takes people, it has to put them somewhere. The corpse-carrying boat doesn't rush, it doesn't panic, it doesn't mourn, it organizes. Bodies are wrapped carefully, always wrapped. This detail never changes, not because the ghost is kind, but because this is a funeral tradition, one the river understands very well. Sometimes the cloth is white, sometimes old, sometimes clearly torn from household fabric, which suggests something quietly unsettling, that these bodies were not prepared by priests or families or rituals. They were prepared by the river itself. And the boatman? He just follows procedure. There are versions where villagers try to interfere. These versions never end well, so they're told less often. Because again, this is not an exciting story, this is a cautionary one. Someone once tried to call out to the boat, just a question, just curiosity. The boat stopped. That's it. That's the whole problem. The boat stopping is always bad. Movement is safety. Stillness is an invitation. In that version, the ghost boatman finally speaks, not loudly, not angrily. He asks a question in return. Is this your crossing? And apparently, there is no correct answer. Another version says a fisherman tried to count the bodies. 1, 2, 3. He lost count, not because they were too many, but because one of them opened its eyes. After that, the fisherman stopped fishing at night, started drinking more, died peacefully years later, which in folklore terms is basically a happy ending. Now, let's talk about the river itself for a moment, because the river is the real constant here. In Bengali culture, rivers are alive, not metaphorically, practically. They give food, they take land, they move villages without asking. They are worshipped, they are cursed, they are blamed. So a river having its own way of managing the dead doesn't feel supernatural, it feels administrative. The corpse-carrying boat isn't evil, it's maintenance. And that's why the story works so well as a sleep story, because it doesn't spike your heart rate, it lowers it. There's no chase, no scream, just inevitability. The boat appears when it needs to, it leaves when it's done, and everyone else is encouraged to not get involved. Parents used this story for generations to keep children away from rivers at night, which honestly is solid parenting. Don't go near the water after dark. Why? Because the dead are commuting. Effective, memorable, minimal effort. Boatmen, on the other hand, treat the story differently. They don't fear it, They respect it. Many refuse to work certain nights, new moon nights, storm-heavy evenings, times when the river feels too quiet. Some leave a coin on the bank before rowing at night, not as payment, just acknowledgement, like saying, "I know you're here, I'm not asking for trouble." And trouble usually obliges. There's also a belief that the boat only appears to those who are already half gone, sick people, exhausted people, people who've mentally checked out of life just a little, which reframes the story entirely. The corpse-carrying boat isn't stealing souls, it's collecting reservations, which feels uncomfortably accurate. In that sense, seeing the boat isn't a curse, it's a notice, a quiet one. No deadline, no instructions, just a reminder that your crossing exists. And maybe that's why the boatman never speaks unless spoken to. He's not here to convince you, he's here when you're ready. The legend also subtly reinforces community responsibility. Those who die alone, unnoticed, unattended, they're the ones on the boat, which is a gentle nudge from folklore saying, take care of each other, or the river will handle it. And the river is efficient, but impersonal. As generations passed, the story softened, the edges blurred, the fear mellowed into familiarity. People still talk about the boat, but with the same tone they use for floods or monsoons. It happens, it's part of the river. And that might be the most unsettling part of all, because the corpse-carrying boat isn't a disruption, it's a feature, a reminder that life and death are not opposites, they're neighbors, and the river runs between them. So as we drift here, half awake, half listening, let that thought settle gently, that somewhere, in some quiet stretch of water, a boat is moving without oars, guided by someone who never stopped working, carrying people who are finally done. No rush, no noise, just another crossing. And when you're ready,